Good afternoon. This is Alan Smason, the president of the American Jewish Press Association. I want to welcome everyone to our webinar today. A very important webinar because it's been many, many years in the making, and we hope that this will prove to be a profitable path for many of our member organizations who are looking to increase their digital advertising and the importance of a network that we're developing alongside with a partner of ours, Blue Orchid. Before I introduce Devin, I'd like everybody to, if they don't mind, put themselves on mute at present. I can mute everybody, or we can mute everybody, but then when you want to unmute yourselves, it's going to be a problem if we do it. So it'll be problematic. If everybody will just stay on mute for the time being, I'm going to have Devin do his presentation, and then I'm going to ask for the floor to be opened after he's had his formal presentation, and then we can ask questions and hopefully get answers at that point. So if everybody's ready, I'd like to introduce Devin. Devin Yeager is the co-founder of Blue Orchid. It's a partner that helps publishers with their digital ad strategy and monetization. Some of the clients that entrust their remnant web banner ads to Blue Orchid include National Public Radio, The Advocate, Pocket, Virginia Press Association, and the North Carolina Press Association. Devin brings with him experience of more than a decade's worth of years as a founder of a supply-side platform that's an SSP called Altitude Digital that worked with over 200 clients in managing their entire remnant strategy. And that SSP started with display and adapted with the times to include mobile and video. Devin has also acted as an advisor to numerous websites and agencies throughout his career. I'd like to welcome Devin Yeager to today's webinar on Blue Orchid and turn the floor over to him.
Hey, thank you, Alan. Thanks for the kind words. And I'm excited to present this to you guys. And at all times, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to interrupt me and we can go through, or you can share your questions till the end. A lot of this can be very daunting and very overwhelming when you first hear about it, but our company specializes in being there every step of the way with you. We've worked with anywhere from huge publishers like NPR down to the smallest publisher that has a very niche local community that goes there. And we try to provide them the exact same service to each one and help with their strategy. So without further ado, so we do everything. We try to bring you additional display and video demand if you do have a video player on your site, all the way to running your backend. We're a managed ad operation solution as well. If that's where you're struggling, we give advice, we help out, we pull the levers and push the buttons even if you need. And we provide you guys strategies if you need that. We work with you to try to develop these KPIs from the ground up. If you have no idea, what should my KPI be? What's beneficial for the future for a 1, 3, 5 year plan? We help develop that with you. We do something called open bidding, which I'll talk a little bit more about. We can bring a complete video solution to you if you don't have video on your site and you're interested in it, or how does that affect the users? What's the cost benefit of that? We help with that as well. And we like to think that we're a triple threat. We add the efficiency, increased revenue, and service beyond anything else is the service to any partner who needs that. So what we bring, the three main things that we do bring is the open exchange, and that's going to be the demand that we're bringing. We work inside of a Google ad server, so it's a server that a lot of the advertisers are used to using. They're comfortable using. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We went where all the advertisers were and not looking to leave, and started building our supply on there. It's very high quality that we have. We have a lot of high quality advertisers that we'll talk about a little bit later. We do a managed solution as well, where we think it's a white glove service. It can include trafficking your direct ads all the way down to trafficking your remnant ads. We provide this service on a flat fee. A lot of companies do this on a revenue share with it. And if you have more direct than revenue, that really doesn't make sense to you. Or if it's something where maybe you have a ton of revenue and that revenue share we just don't agree with. We think that that's your dollars that you've made, and there's no reason to just share it with, you wouldn't share it with an operations employee. So think of us as like a very high skilled employee that's kind of always on. And then we do video, and we'll talk a little bit about that, where we have high quality content. It allows publishers to increase their inventory. That if you're running into a problem or maybe you don't have enough inventory for your advertisers, we allow you to sell into it, and it just covers our cost then with it. And we don't, once again, don't take a rev share off of that either. So this graph to the left that you're looking at, this is, it's so jumbled because it's every company in the ad tech space logo that's trying to help you. There's 7,000 different companies that are in ad tech space that fall into these different boxes, whether it's content marketing, your advertising, your promotion of anything, the conversion in sales, or looking at your data. So that's why I said at the beginning, this could be a daunting task if you're trying to look through here and you're trying to decide, okay, what partner should I work with? Are they good and are they not? And how do I compare that to somebody else? And if you haven't been doing this a while, it can be misleading. A lot of these people have very good marketing teams. They have a very large marketing budget. So you might see their name around. They might sell you a lot more than they can actually offer you. So that becomes a problem. So what we do is we help limit this commotion down. We help give you the right partners through here. So our purpose here, the integration purpose, is to bring our unique demand to be a complement to, maybe you already have demand in place, or maybe you're looking to just add demand to your website. And this is a good place to start. And we would point you to the other directions of, okay, you have Blue Orchid demand, you should add in this demand. Maybe it's Amazon or Google or Verizon. We know that each of your publications revolve around your audience. They care about the events that affect their lives. The ads that go on the page, they have to reflect that. They can't draw the user away from the content you guys are providing, from the experience that you guys are providing them. And we understand that to the T. I think some of our clients that we work with, they speak volumes to that. That people go to NPR, has nothing to do with the advertising. They're going there to read the content. And same with local newspapers or statewide newspapers, or even going up to national sites. Once again, we work with Google, and we work through a tag basis with these publishers that I've mentioned before, and that's how we prefer to work with people. That goes inside your ad server. If you don't have an ad server, that's something we can also help you out with establishing that, using our own, anything else like that. So there's 3 different bubbles really of advertisers that you can have. You can have your large advertisers, your Verizons, your Amazons, your eBays. Those things are huge. You can have a programmatic advertiser, and programmatic is where these large advertisers give a portion of their budget to a technology called a demand side platform that executes that pie. These programmatic partners, somebody like the Trade Desk is such a large partner that they might have more of a spend than an eBay will, or more of a spend than an Amazon will. And so that's a large bubble. And then you also have local advertisers. Now these can be either in your local community, statewide, that they're going towards trying to sell into your user base. Don't think of it as, I already sell to this person down the street, or I already sell to this company in my neighborhood. Think of it more like state. Maybe somebody's trying to connect with a user that has a certain location base or has a certain profile already built on them, and they're on your website. So it's using that data. If we combine all 3 in our demands with our sales team going out and establishing these relationships and blend all of that together for you. So real quick on the integration, when we start, it's a very simple process. If we just send you a contract and establish terms and everything else, Since we're on Google, you get an email from Google and they ask you, is this relationship good? Is this okay to have this relationship with Blue Orchid? And from there, you start getting tags, you get a login, and then we reach out to you every 2 weeks to see how you're feeling. How's the performance look to you? We then pepper you with ideas of how we think we can improve the results on that, and we continue that. And it's not like you only talk to us once every 2 weeks. We're there available, email and everything else. That's just more of a formal type meeting that we prepare for. We show you who is buying what, certain advertisers, what industries were buying on your website, and we start developing a strategy, developing a plan of how to get more of these advertisers, more of these industries, and what industries are you missing out on? How can you bring those into the mix as well? Some of the impact assessment that we have, you're going to have more advertisers. If you already have a stack, you're just going to have more competing on this inventory, driving up this rate. You're going to have a lift for your overall rate that you're selling for your ad space. The list of advertisers to help develop that sales strategy that's actually bidding on your inventory. We don't go against your existing advertising pool. So if you do have direct ads, if you do have a certain client that you like working with, we'll never duplicate your demands. We'll put that advertiser on a blacklist for you, so they can never even see that we're working with you. We like to have you control those relationships that you've worked hard to establish. We're not trying to step on your toes or sell your inventory for cheaper than maybe you sell it to them. And then we have a dedicated support team as well. And that dedicated support team includes myself, a team of account managers and operations people as well. But here are some of our advertisers that we have established relationships with. And you could see it goes anywhere from the largest, like Amazon and Google, down to somebody smaller, like an ad seller that works with a lot of local advertisers. Haps Now, that's a ticketing system. And now in my part in Denver, they're still having events more up north in like Wyoming. So we work with people like that, work with large agencies such as Jellyfish or Centro. And we combine all of this together for you. Now your unsold management, getting into more of a manage, if you already have a stack of advertisers that you have, but you're not satisfied with the rate, or if you're looking to start from the ground up and want to do it right the first time, we have a lot of pillars of this that we go through, or just three. One's called SPO. That's a supply path optimization. So demand partners use this to increase their effectiveness of looking at different supply. We use the exact same strategy, and when we're looking at your different demand partners, is a lot of partners will call the same ones as each other, and they have either a different back end or a different reporting system. Maybe they have just a few different advertisers. We go in and we start blocking all of those to make sure that these larger advertisers, like a Google or an Amazon's, only seeing your supply one time, and the buyers in there are only seeing it one time to create this uniqueness of your inventory. It drives your rate up. We take out all unnecessary rev shares that other partners, they're not bringing you anything, or perhaps they're bringing you a relationship that you can establish on your own. We help you establish those through introductions to these advertisers, and so you lose that rev share from there. And finally, this is more of the let's say you don't even have a strategy. We find the right partners for you that would take you a lot of time, and we optimize the buyers in there, and we try to set those up in your name. We have them in our name already, but we try to get it into your name. So let's say you want to bring ad operations in-house down the road. You're not married to us at any point, that you can leave, and then you have your own advertising stack set up. I'm sorry, just looking at the chat. All right, I'm going to try to speak louder. But we try to establish these relationships in your name. So if you are just getting started, once again, we don't want you to be married to us, to be stuck with us till death do us part. We want you to be able to leave on your own if you decide to bring ad operations in-house and have that advertising stack already there for you. It just gives you the flexibility, it gives you the freedom, and it has us perform for you on a monthly basis. So how we do this is we cut off bad sources. I've been around in the industry long enough. Our team members are very experienced in this, is that we know who's not really bringing you value. If they're bringing you a fancy back end or anything else like that, we find what you like out of it, and we try to replicate it for you. We show you how to do it. How are they getting this information? We concentrate on the buyers that are inside these huge platforms or these huge conglomerate of advertisers and find out who's actually buying your inventory and direct that straight towards you. It's part of that SPO that we talked about. And then we keep it simple. There's not many huge platforms, huge technology partners out there that are really worth signing up at this point, especially for display and video advertising. And so we let you know who's the best. And we try to keep it down to those, so it's a manageable process, and it's a high reward process. A lot of these larger advertisers will have favorable payment terms, they'll have good credit history, and they'll offer the highest rates. Those are the ones we'd like to concentrate on. And then we cut this revenue share out. If somebody's not doing the job, they shouldn't be getting paid. If they're only slapping their name on your inventory, they shouldn't collect any money for doing that. That's actually hurting you in the long run. So we cut that off. Through these 4 steps that we do, we've seen incredible results through some of our partners doing it. And I'll walk you through one of the partners that we've done it for and what they've seen actually with just some of their own current partners and what it's been able to grow to. So we're bringing you these 3 things. We're bringing you control of your website by not taking a split. What you've earned through your own partners, that's your control. That's what you have. We vet out anybody who'd like to talk to you, who says, I'd like to run on your website. Here's what I have to offer. You can just kick their name over to us and we'll vet them out. We'll give you our recommendation based on it. And however you want to move forward, it is your website. And we respect that and trust that, and we'll do it. And then we give you strategy going forward with it of, here's what this person's bringing to you. If you add them in, here's what it looks like in 3, 6, 12 months. And we try to give you this baseline of partners, this rock solid foundation to build up on. Not building it on sand, trying to build it up on the rock. And so this is a site that signed up with us to do this service. You can see they are hovering around a $2.40 CPM. This is just through one of their main partners, of where we started cutting off the nonsense and just concentrating on the buyers in there. They're only around a 25% fill. So after 6 months, we've doubled the fill just about, and near doubled their CPM as well. So going through that, this person didn't add in any advertisers. This isn't even their take-home rate. This is the rate inside of there. So by cutting these advertisers off, their take-home rate's going to be even more, as they're not giving a rev share to any partner that they currently had, or now it's previously had. And we expect this number to keep going up. And this combined with another maybe 4 or 5 great partners, it starts looking really good to them. We also do bring direct buys to them. So you can see through April, we had one, and that did drive up their rate that they have. It's nothing to budget around our direct buys, but it is like a nice perk when they do come through. And we let you know. And when we have direct buys, we sell to the sites we represent first. Going into video, what we've done, we've been asked by enough partners that asked us to either help them with their video strategy, implement a video strategy for them. Is we've went out and we've partnered, much like we did with the display portion, we partnered with some of the larger technologies out there. And that's a JW player. That's the most trusted player out there. It's the cleanest looking player. Advertisers know it. They're integrated in with their technology. We've went through the content of Video Elephant, and what Video Elephant is getting is from like Reuters or AP or trusted news brands out there. And you have the ability to pick and choose content as you'd like to show on your site. then we've layered in ads through, once again, the Google platform. So it's a demand stack that we've built on there. And what's unique about us, what's different about us is we allow you to sell your own inventory in there, the direct sold, and we just ask that you cover our costs. With the JW and the Video Elephant, that is just costs getting passed on. We don't upcharge for any of that. It's, you take a look at our contracts, and why it makes sense to go with somebody like us is as we combine these larger publishers or even conglomerates of publishers, we start getting price breaks that you wouldn't have been able to realize on your own, and go through it. And it's not a cost that you'll have each month. It's not like, well, you ran a video ad or a video player and no ad showed, you still owe us. It doesn't work that way. It's only a portion of when we make money, you make money. So some of the breakdowns of the services is, here's the Video Elephant. You can see it's Bloomberg, Fox, Al Jazeera, Euronews, now this, and then Reuters, AP News is on there. Maybe you don't want to go through all the content. It is cumbersome. It can be a large task. So we have something called article matching and recommendations. And that's based on what the player, it's the JW player doing this, that is reading on the page. And so let's say you have a article about COVID, it will then show by county what the COVID numbers were for yesterday through this in a slideshow fashion. So it does go with the articles that's there. If you have an article about travel, it'll try to locate what locations you're talking about and have some stats about that, or have a video about that. The ability to sell directly into it, that's a large one that you can have. And then some of the largest advertisers that we're running with is Google, there's Spot Exchange, which is a large platform as well, and Verizon, of bringing all of these people's demand to your site. These CPMs typically are around 2 to 3 times higher than your display CPM. Just depends on what you're getting. If you're used to getting around $1, then you're talking 5 to 6 times higher. If you're used to getting around $5, then you're talking the 2 to 3 times higher, getting in your $10 to $15 rate. And then what you guys are direct selling it for, we always recommend to double that. So these are some of our companies that we're using: the Real Clear Politics, Salary. I brought up a few of them. Going down to more entertainment-based sites like Voice Media Group, or even press associations that we have. The Pocket is an app that you can download different websites. And then when you don't have the internet, if you're on the train or anything, you can then read that article as well. It's a very popular site, and it's getting much larger as it goes. So those are URLs from all the top sites that we work with. If you have questions at any time, you can always email myself. I've listed our CRO, who's really good at this. He helped found the company on here as well. And that's the presentation. So I'll open it up for you guys and try to answer as many questions as I can.
Okay, first off, thank you, Devin, for going into much of the meat of your presentation. Implementation. How soon, if we signed up, would you be able to have our members become a part of this platform?
It's really quick. On my side, first we need to have Google approve our relationship. And what Google's doing is looking at your website as well to make sure that there's no fraudulent traffic or content that is deemed unsuitable by them. And what that usually is would be anything regarding to hate or violence, enacting violence. So we've had no problems with that.
Okay, and let me separate one thing too. There is the American Jewish Press Association website, which is the association's own entity that they have in place for membership, for dues, and things of that sort. And then we have individual websites, which we would like to be able to, as an association, and the benefit of our membership, utilize to be part of a network that would be able to be sold, or that you all would be able to utilize in some fashion. That is part of what you're going to be doing, right?
That's right. So once we do that, each domain is approved through there, um, through this Google relationship, and then from there, that takes about 24 hours. Then it takes me about 48 hours to turn everything around and have ad tags in your hands with it. And then it's just about getting it live on your guys' end, of putting it into an ad server, putting it directly on site if you don't have an ad server and you still want to use these ads, and just finding out how each person likes it. But it's a tailored solution for each member of this. Um, and then through there, how we like to work with press associations is to allow the press association, this is where we've seen that greatest success, is be able to have it be like an extended audience type sale, where it's like for $10 you can run on this site, but for, you know, less or even more, however you want to sell it, you can run on the whole Jewish Press Association through this, and then your scale is so much more. I maybe have 100,000 users per month, but the whole press association has 500,000. I'm just throwing out numbers.
Right. And the other question, I guess some of us are going to have is how do we protect those advertisers who are already our partners?
Yeah, so that's something I would ask for a list for, and then I would create a blacklist. So my blacklist includes advertisers you don't want to run on your site in categories. Let's say the category is personal loans. Say I don't want that on my website. We block that, but then we also block with the same ferocity your advertisers, so they can't work through Blue Orchid to get to your site. That's the last thing we want to have happen, is to try to go around you. So we do that. If it's something that, hey, I got a big deal through Coke, I can't serve any Pepsi, we block that for however long that campaign's going for.
And the last thing I think that might be something that's on people's minds too is that we have to make a decision in terms of how, as a Jewish press association, we're going to have rules enacted for things such as things that might be seen as something not in accordance with the faith and practice, if you will. As an example, if you happen to have the Association of Shrimp Farmers, or you know, the pork producers of America, you know, something like that might run afoul of you know, our sensitivities for what we're doing.
Right, right. So I would provide a block list. Our list of categories that we can have is a few hundred long, and I would go through there and try to block out everything myself according to what can and can't run.
I mean, understand that that's not something that everybody's going to be concerned about.
No. I get it. And then on Saturday, are you guys running ads on Saturday, or is it like shut down as well?
Well, the point about Saturdays is that in my particular case, and in a lot of other people, after sundown on Shabbat,
Yep.
we don't try to place any kind of content on the site that would, in a sense, be work or conceived of as work. And that after Shabbat is over with, or after a holiday has ended, we can then update things to the website. However, if it's done automatically, and there's nobody actually doing the work, then that's sort of a gray area there. I'm sure that some rabbis would weigh in and say it can't be done. But as an example, when you have a Shabbat stove, or you have a flame that's been lit on Friday afternoon, as long as you're not tending to that flame, it can remain lit over the course of the Shabbat time and can be utilized to maintain or keep food warm, things of that sort.
Yeah,
So,
I celebrate Shabbat myself. So, in what you're asking and what about these content categories or certain things block, I'm very familiar with. So
yeah. Okay. So what I'm concerned about, not necessarily is for me, but for some sites that might be more religious or observant, would they have the capability of turning that off, or and again, I think that's something that they would have to have halacha, you know, some sort of rabbinic authority weigh in on, maybe, perhaps. Well, as long as you're not manipulating yourself and somebody else is doing it, or it's being done automatically generated, perhaps that would not be conceived of as work or a violation.
Yeah, yeah, we're not doing it ourselves. It comes through automatically as there's certain people with support on the weekend, but we're not uploading or doing active work. The people as support are not celebrating it. So it could, gray area for me too.
Okay.
But with it, we could do block lists by URL. So if somebody has a more stringent block list or more stringent requirements, we can do that for them to have that run. But before we get started, it could be something where I send out an entirely big content block list. So these are the types of things that we can block, and then start going through it and whack-a-mole in these advertisers like you brought up, the Pork Association or shrimp or something like that, to get that off the site. And I'd like to try to do that before we would even turn an ad on.
Okay, let me open up the floor to any of our other members. I think I covered most of the ground that I wanted to deal with. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question about your approach here on this model. You know, we probably, if I had to guess, there's probably going to be at least 25 different outlets that are going to be interested in doing this. But are you really going to be dealing with 25 different publishers? Or are you going to be going through a channel within AJPA or a representative of AJPA and then having a message go out to the 25 and they can accept or reject?
We go through each one through the other press associations. We hold relationships through them and do that 2-week call with them to go through there. It's through like kind of company announcements or new things, for example, video, or if we come out with something that's more mobile specific, let's say, we would talk to the AJPA and give out one concise message, one unified message through there. But when it comes down to how each website's doing themselves, we like to speak to each website and do that. Currently, right now, we represent over 100 domains, and they range from large to small. And we do these 2-week calls with every single one that goes through there, just to try to provide this service to them. We're not bringing you technology, any like new technology. It's very established technology. It's very trusted technology. So we pride ourselves on our service, and that's the one thing we hope that you can't replace is the attention to detail that we have, and trying to just lean in and act like we're at your site, trying to representing you.
It's not like it's not like AJPA is making a decision on what we're allowed to do or not do. It's you're willing to customize each and every one of us as clients within the AJPA umbrella and deal with
That's right. That's right. And we hope that the AJPA then can direct sell as the whole and have a good place to run everything through.
So I have a question. It sounds to me, since there's so much individualization, you require a contract with each individual publisher. Is that right?
We do it 2 ways. We can do it 2 ways. Is one, the answer would be yes, that it'd be each individual one. The contract's very simple. We have net 30 payment terms. The second way that we do it is have one contract with the AJPA, and then they would have contracts with however they would pay you guys, or maybe it's already established in a contract. And we would do that way. So either we're just paying AJPA as a whole and they distribute the payments, or we work with each specific one. And how we typically work with sites on our rev share basis, when we do feel the demand is an 80-20, and through the AJPA, the website's still getting 80%. We're just chopping up that 20% that we're getting with the organization as a whole.
You got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I'll play devil's advocate. Devin, what would be what you envision as a problem for us signing a contract with you?
The implementation, the knowledge of either ad servers or where they're at can be a problem with certain people, and they might not even know what rate that they're getting. Is it, we've run into this with smaller papers of, I sold an ad to the guy who runs the tire shop down the street. He pays me $200 a month. He has for years. I don't want to replace that. Like, I want that guy's ad. And we'll run those metrics for you and be like, you're getting, I've gone back to numerous sites, like, you're getting a great rate. We're not going to be able to beat it, or it's going to be a hassle to even try to beat it. This is your best path forward, is to go with Larry's tire shop down the street, or whoever they sold it to. So those are some of the problems. Some of the other problems is getting people, maybe they need an ad server, and explaining that to them and trying to walk them through that process over email or even jumping on the phone. Is this can be so new to so many people. That very first step that you take is always going to be the hardest. So getting them through that will do it. Other problems that we've perhaps seen is when people are too saturated with all of their advertisements that they might have. And we've all been on those sites where there's so many ads, it basically shuts your computer down. Those people tend to get a lower rate than a typical client that we'd like to have. And so we try to work with them to be like, okay, here's why your rate is not matching what the rest of our group of sites is doing. Here's the problem, here's how we fix it.
And the ads that you're talking about, though, they are placed within the content, correct? Normally?
Yeah, kind of wherever you see the content or ads on normal sites.
As opposed to a placement of a block kind of advertising that might be, a banner ad type of thing.
It comes more as a banner ad rather than in the content, and it depends where you want to put the ad. If you want to put it at the very bottom of the page or top or on the side or however you want to do it. And a lot of people put ads kind of, we just signed up a site called VentureBeat that have, it's like content ad right in the middle. And so that's just how they like to have it. Other people, they have a top ad, they have their main content. When you click through it, more ads appear. It's wherever you would like to have it. And we'll give you good examples of sites that are like, this site looks very nice, or this is not what you want to do with certain sites.
More questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm in Cleveland, Devon. We use Town News. So we already partner with them on this. So we get like an additional like $500, $600 a month, all the ads they put on for, unsold inventory. So I'm just not sure, do you have any idea money-wise what you would bring into each market? Or is that too broad of a question as of now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm very aware of Town News. And so with Town News, they do have a lot of this strategy that they do. So unless I know more about your site of like, we can make you this much more, Town News is doing a fantastic job, stick with them. That would be kind of it. And Town News they provide a lot of value, but when it comes to managing the unsold, it was what I was talking about in the beginning of not making your inventory unique. This Town News will go around and sell it to a lot of different advertisers, and a lot of them are doubling up each other. And this is based on past relationships that they have and other things like that. Now, they do bring a unique style and a unique demand to try to blend with that. The question is, and I think it varies from site to site, is that unique blend enough to overtake that overselling of your inventory, of calling the advertisers too many times? And it could be reflected in your CPM based on it. So it could be worth a side conversation between us to try to determine this and try to determine, we have a calculator that says if your inventory is being resold so much, you're losing this much, and it could hit that calculator, or it could just be like, I've seen Town News do wonders for certain sites, and I've seen them not.
Thanks.
On others.
No, that's a great answer. Thanks for the answer. Yep.
Town
Any-
News provides a lot that we don't, though. So with the blocks technology that they use and managing the website. So if it is something like, well, we don't want to use Town News anymore, that would be a separate conversation to say we can't replace them here, here, and here, but we can on these other areas.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, Tevin, maybe I ask a question. In terms of contracts, are we able to look at a sample contract? That you have anything like that that's available yet, or are you and Celia going to be working on that for us?
We do have a sample contract. I can send it out to Celia, and I believe we've signed the AJPA one, and the contract is very non-binding, and it's month to month on certain things. So if it's you're not, like I said in the beginning, it's not going to be till death do us part. It's till
Right.
we stop doing a good job.
But in other words, if you're going to be dealing with us on a individual basis, having something in place for the AJPA would be in addition to individual contracts that we should look over and sign.
Yeah, so that split that we had that I mentioned, the 20% that we're chopping up, that's defined in that contract.
Right. So yeah, I'm not really concerned about the AJPA portion of it because I know that's being handled on behalf of the association. But as far as the individuals, I'm sure that Marshall, Craig, and Larry, myself, maybe Adam would want to take a look and see what you've got to offer there, and in terms of what the contract would entail, how soon it could be implemented, things of that sort.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have that
I've
available
seen
to
the
you.
contract that we signed for AJPA already. It's very non-binding, as Devin said. If somebody's not happy, they can get out of it very quickly.
And again, how does the payment work in terms of what do you all accept? Is it inventory? Is it billed out as an invoice, or how's that handled?
Yeah. So we pay on just what we fill and then do a revenue share on that, and we pay you net 30 terms for it. So with something where if it's like I'm already getting $1 rate, so I don't want anything less than $1, we'll work with you to get those ads that you're getting $1 from, so we can make sure that we're calling them if we can't fill above $1, and then we try to fill as much as we can at as high of a rate that we can, and get that back to you. When we can't fill it, it'll call that dollar ad. So you're basically just adding on to what you have. It's a nice, easy solution with it. And so at the end of each month, we verify our numbers with everybody saying, we have this on our side, you have our numbers matching up. And then 30 days later, you get a ACH sent to you.
Guys, where are we in process on this? Is this a done deal that AJPA is partnering with you and now it's a matter of getting individual members to sign on? Or is this we're vetting out and AJPA has it signed up? Help me understand that.
Yeah, it's AJPA. It's a done deal, but what they said, it's non-binding, so they can back out anytime. And you guys are not required to sign up. It's just if you guys do sign up, they get a portion of the Blue Orchid share, and then we can start selling the AJPA as a whole. We can say, if you're looking for these type of users, here's what we're going for.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my understanding, Marshall, is that we have signed something, and then it's just an opportunity, really. If some pubs don't wish to be part of this, that's their prerogative. But the ones that do wish to be part of this and they start getting some activity, there's a small cut that goes to the AJPA coffers. And that's great.
Okay.
That's great for the association. And then there's a little bit of extra money, like what Adam said, a little bit of money comes to each pub.
Okay. Are we as potential clients expected to put anything up front to you, Devin?
No, nothing
Okay.
up front.
Okay.
It's no cost to you whatsoever. And then our marketing material really comes from a lot of the names. And we have to know who not to speak to based on your guys' behalf. So if you do have a large a large advertiser or something like that, you're like, don't talk to them at all. We have to know that so we don't cross paths.
Devin, Shayna Goldberg had a question, and I think you've already addressed part of it. But AdSense is the Google product, isn't it? She wondered
Yeah,
whether or not it could.
we have AdX.
AdX. Okay. So
what
she wondered
AdX
is will this program conflict with AdSense and other programs like Adam mentioned with Town News?
So we have there's an ability to pass back to AdSense once you have your own AdX account. It's very confusing, but the AdX is the more premium, larger buyers that Google will pull out of AdSense. So they're all of a sudden they're not buying inside of AdSense anymore. They're buying inside of AdX. And their pitch is you have large premium publishers inside of AdX. You can get more of their inventory. Or you have players like us that's pulling out the premium inventory, combining it all together to look like a large premium publisher and putting it inside AdX. Through there, we can also start direct deals with people that are buying your inventory through it, through programmatically, which is, I brought them up, the Trade Desk, Centro, like some of those partners that I listed on there. Those are partners that we have established a relationship with that are buying our inventory through the AdX.
I hope that answers Shayna's question.
It's very confusing. They say it's anywhere from like 25 to 33% higher on the AdX than the AdSense.
Okay, she says thanks. If there's any other questions that remain, let's get them in right now. I did want to know your timetable, Devin, as far as when we can get started on this. I know we've already got the AJPA component in place, but how soon do we need to get back to you to to finalize this aspect of individuals participating?
I'm on your guys' timeline with it. If you guys want like a sacrificial lamb to see how it goes, we can start with one and then increase it from there. I'm confident in the service to that it'll work for everybody. Everybody should be pretty happy with the results, and so I'm open with you guys. We're here to get started right away.
I'm willing.
Yeah, I think I am too. The only thing is I don't think that I presently have an ad server, so I'd probably have to add that as a component on the site, huh?
You could, or you could just put the tags directly on site. But what that'll do is when you sell an ad yourself and they want to run on this slot, you would have to choose to say, am I going to run this direct ad or this other direct ad or Blue Orchid's ad? With an ad server, it'll make those decisions for you, or you tell them what decisions to make. So you can sell one ad slot multiple different ways.
Are there any particular ad servers you recommend over others?
Google Ad Manager is the best, and it's free, which is the best part about it. Broad Street Ads is also good, but that one does have a cost associated with it. I would definitely use Google Ad Manager just based on technology, the advertisers that are bidding into it, and it does play in well to AdSense, which is a good option. It's just controlling the ads that come from AdSense to make sure that they meet your content criteria.
Okay, well then that sort of answers my questions. That's good. All right. Anybody have any other questions? I guess the next thing would be Devin, if you have any requirement from us. I mean, how do we move forward in terms of will you work with Celia to get us the contracts that we can look over? And
yeah, why don't we work with Celia and give her all my contact information, and through there, everyone feel free to email me or as much as you want, and we can go through there. And so even questions like about the ad server, if there's a side question about it,
right,
feel free to reach out. I'll help you out. I'll try to give you, I have a wealth of content library that I can just start forwarding you links about ad servers, how to set it up and everything else. That it should save you quite a bit of time.
If you have the time, I would certainly love to be the guinea pig here too, to have you come in on my back end of my site and take a look and see what I need to do to add Google Manager, et cetera. And then maybe I could actually explain it to other people too. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that way it doesn't affect everybody else's, like Craig's got several different media that he's dealing with. And if I see how it goes, et cetera, with me, then maybe we'll have an example of how it'll work on everybody else's sites, and we can advance at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out to you, Alan, separately, and we'll try to schedule some time and get it going.
Okay, if that's with everybody's permission, that's all right. I'll get on that right away, and that way, hopefully within the next few days, I don't know if it's going to happen before Friday, but maybe the beginning of next week, we might have everything in place, and I can send out an email advising you to look at the site or to look at whatever we've got going on. Perhaps contact Devin, and in the meantime, Celia, if she's still on the call, I think she is, can maybe go ahead and advance any contracts through you, and perhaps have them sent through either Laura or Desiree, whoever is shepherding this as part of KCA.
Yeah, and Cecilia did chat that her internet was having some problems, so I will I'll make sure that she has that, and I'll make sure that we're moving things along.
That's perfect. And now Ryan is also involved. What is his aspect in terms of what is his job? What does he do? That you had Ryan.
Oh, he's my CRO. He helped found the company.
Mm-hmm.
So I started the company, and Ryan, I've worked with him in the past, was the first one to come on, and he had a separate call during this time, so we both couldn't be on here. But he usually accompanies me with this. He's much funnier than me and likable. And
Well, you've been likable and wonderful. I know the reason I asked that is I didn't know whether or not you had it broken down that you handle the technical aspects and he handles more the business end, or whether or not you both handle both.
Yeah, I'm definitely more technical than him, and he's more salesy in business than me. But we each have a team to help us out with it.
Right.
He's just a great resource. He's just a caring man.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll be in contact with you. I'll send you an email shortly, and we can get that ball rolling and see if we can get that up. And again, the AJPA component's already in place, so we don't have to look into that anymore. And if anybody else has any questions, we can either advance them either to me, to Celia, or to I don't know, Desiree or Laura, if they have any questions that they want to pass on. We'll deal with that. But this looks like a wonderful opportunity for everybody, a win-win proposition, and something this association has been looking for a long time. Not only increasing revenue for ourselves, but also perhaps getting the association a cut of some of the advertising revenue that's coming in.
As long as there's no shellfish, pork, or
Right.
Yeah.
I can't say I appreciate the time that you guys gave me. Everybody's busy this time of year.
Yeah.
I heard there was an election and a pandemic at the same time, so I appreciate everyone taking time.
Very interesting, that, isn't it? All right. Well, then at that point, I guess we'll just conclude things. I want to thank everybody for being here today, and Devin, you especially for being here. Larry, Craig, Marshall, Celia, who's gone, and again, I know Lonnie. Thank you for being here. If there's anything else that we need to follow up, please feel free to give me an email or send an email to Laura or Desiree or perhaps to Celia, and we'll get jumping on this thing right away. And again, have a very good day, all of you. It's been a busy one for me. I'm jumping on to another meeting now in another 3 minutes. So hope everybody has a good one. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, thanks. All right.